Early September 2025 will be remembered not just for rumors, viral photos, or award shows, but for one breathtaking act of generosity. While tabloids speculated endlessly about Jimin's private life, the man himself was quietly rewriting headlines with action, not words. In a move that nobody expected, Park Jimin of BTS donated 100 million won, about $72,000 USD, to the Jeonbuk Education Love Scholarship Foundation, an institution dedicated to giving children from low-income families the chance to pursue education. There were no flashy announcements, no press release from Hybe with glossy pictures, no staged photos with oversized donation checks. Just a simple confirmation from the foundation, followed by a tidal wave of gratitude, admiration, and tears. The world paused. Fans wept. Media scrambled. The question on everyone's lips, why jungkook? Why now? To understand this moment, you need to understand Jimin, not just as a performer, but as a person. Jimin's career has always been defined by duality, the fierce perfectionist on stage and the gentle soul offstage. For years, fans have admired his voice, his dance, and his artistry. But those who follow his journey closely know that his heart has always spoken louder than his fame. This isn't the first time Jimin has donated. He has a history that stretches back nearly a decade. 2019, donated to his alma mater, Busan Het School of Arts, to provide uniforms and support for students in need. 2020, supported education projects in his hometown, Busan, funding school improvements and scholarships. 2021, made multiple anonymous donations to child welfare and medical support programs. 2023, contributed to earthquake relief efforts in Turkey and Syria, joining BTS's tradition of international aid. 2024, provided financial support for underprivileged students in Jeolla and Busan, continuing his focus on education. Every time, the pattern has been the same. Jimin donates quietly, often without media attention, until the story leaks through the recipients or foundations. It is humility at its purest form. He doesn't seek credit, he simply acts. And this September, his act was bigger, bolder, and more impactful than ever. To the global army, the name Jeonbuk Education Love Scholarship Foundation was new. But to the families of Jeollabuk-do, it was a lifeline. Founded to support children from households struggling with poverty, the foundation ensures that students who dream of finishing school or going to university do not have to abandon their education because of financial hardship. With Jimin's 100 million won donation, the foundation confirmed that hundreds of students will directly benefit, not just through tuition, but through books, uniforms, and even living expenses. This is more than money, one representative said. It's belief. Belief that our children are worthy of opportunity. Jimin's gift tells them, your dreams matter. For students who have been told repeatedly that they cannot afford to dream, this message is priceless. When news of the donation broke, the immediate question was, why Jeonbuk? Jimin is from Busan. He has previously supported Busan's schools. His connection to Jeonbuk has never been public. So why here? Fans began to speculate endlessly. Was this a hidden nod to BTS's upcoming projects? Did Jimin perhaps have a personal connection, family, a teacher, or a childhood memory that tied him to Jeonbuk? Or was this simply Jimin's way of shining light on an overlooked region, reminding everyone that kindness should not be bound by geography? One theory gained traction online, that BTS's future activities might include Jeonbuk in some form, perhaps as part of a comeback campaign or cultural collaboration. Jimin has a history of planting seeds through his actions, one fan wrote on Weavers. Maybe this is bigger than we think. Whether or not that theory is true, one fact remains. Jimin deliberately chose Jeonbuk, and in doing so, he reminded the nation that every corner of Korea deserves attention and care. The reaction was immediate, emotional, and overwhelming. On X, formerly Twitter, hashtags like "Thank you Jimin," hashtag "Donation King Jimin," and hashtag "Our Angel Jimin" trended globally. In Indonesia, fans flooded TikTok with tearful videos celebrating his generosity. In Brazil, Army organized a campaign to raise funds for local schools in Jimin's name. In Korea, parents of students who might benefit from the scholarship sent handwritten letters of thanks to Hybe. One army from the Philippines wrote, "Jimin doesn't need to tell us he loves people. He shows it through action. That's why we follow him, not just as an artist, but as a human being." Another fan in Mexico posted, "We cry because he makes us proud. Our idol is not only a singer, he is a savior for so many children who deserve education." Some fans even pledged to donate small amounts in their own countries, creating a global wave of mini Jimin donations. If Jimin can do it, we can too. Interestingly, the way Korean media and international outlets covered Jimin's donation was very different. In South Korea, coverage focused on the economic impact, how many children would benefit, how the money would be allocated, and how Jeonbuk's education system could improve with this funding. News anchors described Jimin as a national treasure and highlighted how rare it is for celebrities to choose regional foundations over national ones. International media, however, leaned heavily into the emotional story, a world-famous superstar choosing to give quietly at the height of fame with no self-promotion. Articles in the US and UK emphasized how Jimin's donation stood in stark contrast to celebrity culture in the West, where charity is often tied to publicity. This dual coverage only amplified Jimin's reputation as someone who transcends borders, not just musically, but morally. Behind the numbers are faces, children, families, dreams. One 16-year-old student in Jeonbuk, interviewed anonymously by local reporters, said, "I wanted to study art, but I knew my parents couldn't afford the tuition. When I heard about Jimin's donation, I cried. It felt like my dreams suddenly had a chance." Another mother, raising 3 children alone, shared, "Education is expensive. We always worried our son would have to quit school. Jimin's gift feels like a miracle." These are not just statistics. They are lives forever changed because one young man, at the peak of global fame, chose to remember the forgotten. What makes this donation even more powerful is its timing. In the weeks leading up to September, Jimin was the subject of endless rumors, dating controversies, viral TikToks, even fabricated scandals. The media seemed determined to focus on speculation about his personal life. But Jimin never responded. He didn't issue angry statements. He didn't fuel the gossip. Instead, his answer came in the form of action. While tabloids talked, he donated. While critics whispered, he gave. While others sought attention, he quietly changed lives. It was a masterclass in grace, reminding fans and haters alike that true character is revealed not in words, but in deeds. Of course, Jimin is not alone in this path. BTS as a group has a long history of philanthropy. From their Love Myself campaign with UNICEF, which raised millions for child protection, to individual donations during times of crisis, philanthropy has always been a thread woven into the BTS legacy. RM has supported cultural heritage preservation, Suga has donated to disaster relief and childhood cancer funds, Jin and J-Hope have consistently contributed to education and welfare programs. But Jimin's donation stands out because of its timing, right at the dawn of BTS's reunion, when all eyes are on their next artistic move. Instead of hyping an album or teasing a tour, Jimin gave fans something even more powerful, proof that BTS's message of love and hope is not just a slogan, but a way of life. What makes Jimin's 100 million won gift to Jeonbuk so extraordinary is not just the size of the donation, but the timing and intent behind it. In a world where fame often pulls idols away from real issues, Jimin's choice to invest in education speaks volumes about his values. Education in South Korea has always been viewed as the key to opportunity. Yet for many families, financial struggles mean their children can't pursue higher studies. Jimin's donation comes like a lifeline, opening doors that would have otherwise remained closed. Teachers in jungkook describe the news as a miracle. One teacher told a local outlet, "We have students who are brilliant, who work harder than anyone, but whose families cannot afford tuition." Jimin's support might be the reason those children don't give up on their dreams. This isn't just about today. It's about the next decade, the next generation, and the ripple effect of opportunity. One scholarship can transform a student's future, which in turn can transform an entire family and eventually a community. To outsiders, 100 million won might be seen as a number, but in Korea, symbolic meanings run deep. In fact, many pointed out the 100 in the donation wasn't random. It symbolized wholeness, completion, and unity. Fans quickly tied this to BTS's recent reunion news. Could Jimin have chosen this amount as a way of symbolizing a fresh start, not only for himself, but for the children of jungkook? One fan theory went viral. 100 million won is not just money. It's Jimin saying 100 steps forward, 100 reasons to keep believing, 100 ways to show love. Whether intentional or not, the symbolism only fueled the emotional firestorm surrounding the donation.